All right, so this is a preliminary exercise that you guys are going to do, and it's kind of quick, easy, and fast. What you're going to do is you're going to find something round, similar to the roundness of this, but don't use this because you're going to get charcoal all over your tape. Use something that you're going to throw out or recycle. So I have this. Yes, I love hummus. And what you're going to do is you're going to do two different circles, one here, one here. And you're going to do one with willow charcoal, as you see here, and you're going to do one with compressed charcoal. So this is compressed charcoal, and I have a little tiny chunk left, but this is compressed charcoal here. And so I'm going to trace a circle using the compressed charcoal. Okay. And then here, that's my compressed charcoal. And I just prepared my board, so that's why my hands are so black right now. And then I'm going to take my soft vine charcoal. And I really love this brand. And if you took Drawing 1 last semester, we had these kits, and they included Coats willow charcoal. And it came with this variety pack. So you got a bunch of these, and you got a bunch of these, and you got the one big thick one. And I really like these. And if you don't have these, and you have the traditional Winsor Newton sticks, it's not that much different. This is Coats. This is a Winsor Newton. Actually, this looks a little richer. I like this. This isn't so bad. So either or. All right, so I'm gonna stick with this since I started to use it. And the next thing you're gonna do is take this off. We don't need that anymore. So this is the willow side. And this is compressed. Okay. What you're going to do now is you're going to draw an ellipse right here. And you should be masters at ellipses now. You're going to draw another ellipse right here. Okay. And with this guy, let's start with this one, because this charcoal is a little easier to work with. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in the circle. Okay. Actually, I'll just finish this guy here. I'm just going to fill that in too. All right. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to blend it all, make it nice and flat. Now, with willow charcoal, I forgot a tool. Hold on a second. This tool, which is just a paper napkin, works wonders. You can use the knead eraser, but we'll get to that in a second. But watch this. I'm going to take off a little bit of value. Do you see the highlight that I put there? So basically what you're going to do is you're going to draw as if the light source is coming from this direction. It's going to create a highlight, midtones, core shadow, reflected light, and a cast shadow. And you're going to do that on both. So what I do is I grab this guy and kind of just blend this all in. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing down. I'm going to use my finger first. Actually, your finger has oils in it and it's not as good. But what I do is I wrap this around my finger so it feels like it's an extension. Not an extension, just part of my finger. Don't bunch it up because you can't control it that well. What I'm doing now is I'm filling in the value down here because there's going to be reflected light here. and I'll explain in a second. I'm just going to fill this in here. Now, I'm going to get my kneaded eraser, knead it, and I'm going to put a little light area here. And what I'm doing is kind of doing little tiny circles. And I'm going to do another light area right here. And this time I'm trying to like erase. So just by doing that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 values. Now I'm going to blend these in. So what I did is I got this, look at a fresh one. This here, wrap around my finger. It's clean, there isn't any charcoal on it. And I'm going to start with the lighter part and blend it in. Oh boy. And blend it in here and blend it in here. And you kind of see it now, it's blending around. And then what I have now is I'm going to add value here. And this is what the core shadow will be. And the core shadow will be on the opposite side of this area here. And I'm just kind of throwing value in, dark value. Grab this guy. What I do is I blend it in. Oh boy. I think you can do this during nap time. All right, so see how I blended it up, but there's that weird edge there, and I need to get rid of that. So now I'm going to blend right on that edge. Try not to block your view. And it's starting to form now. I'm pulling it down here. And it's going to be beautiful. It's just, I just want you to kind of get the idea down. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to lighten it up here. Blend it in a little bit more. Core shadow stays. Try and get rid of the outline. It stays here. And I'm going to leave that there for now, but what I'm going to show you next is now I'm going to build around the form so the outline doesn't exist. So the shadow, I'm going to make the shadow a little darker. And that in turn created that edge there. And you can see that reflected light that much more because the value is so much darker. And then I'm just going to kind of blend this out. And it should kind of fade out and they get darker as it gets closer to the form. Now, blending stumps are designed for where your finger can't reach in. So you would get your blending stump and work in those little spots there. Of course, it's a bag within a bag, huh? That wasn't easy. And these blending stumps, basically it's like your finger, so you can just do little tiny circles. And you kind of see that that little line or the darkness is gone. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back in there and see if I can just add a little bit more value. And then I can kind of fade it out, just like so. This guy. And just kind of fade it out. All right, forget that. Okay, so that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is so that's kind of working, right? It's hard. I'm trying to get the videotape here. You can make around this darker too. And what I did is I just went on the side. I'm trying to do this without blocking your view. What's this here for anyway? And then you can just kind of like fade this out. and then I'm going to do it again. Once you put that base down and you smear it, then it's easier to put the second layer on. And so forth. And this can get nice and light down here. Depending on the value of this, you kind of want that line to go away. But you get the idea. So this makes this, this makes this, this makes this, this makes that. The space around the form makes the form. The form makes the space around the form. It's like a yin and a yang. They both need to have the other side in order for the other side to exist. So you're going to do that same concept here with the compressed charcoal. And here, you're going to have to use more of your fingers and the kneaded eraser, and you can't use this as much. This is really good for the willow charcoal. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this down. I could have given myself a whole dark area and then drew a circle. So white. Just kind of gonna get this in here, maybe a little bit more. I just don't want to lose that line. All right, now, the nice thing about this is that the kneaded eraser kind of is easier to work with because it's harder to get off. So you can kind of see that I'm getting the same effect. It's just a different kind of medium. You can smear with your finger more. I'm trying to do this super fast because I have to rescue my wife from the baby. All right, I'm gonna actually get going. You can see I'm just gonna lighten this up here. I'm gonna work this area again. It's probably the lightest I'm gonna be able to get. And then I'm just gonna do little tiny circles. But basically I'm doing the same circles as I would with the this guy here. All right. And then I would just make this darker here and then blend this in, and then that line would go away. All right, I'm gonna stop. All right, so I'm back. I left you guys for a quick second and I'm back. I could take this pretty far. I could even use white charcoal and all that stuff, but I'm just gonna work on this a little bit longer here, the compressed charcoal. I'm gonna add a little bit more charcoal to the core shadow that hangs out right here. It's almost like a lima bean shape. And again, I'm gonna use my hand or my finger, and I'm just gonna kind of rub it in. And granted, I'm going past the point that I want to, but that's fine because I'm just kind of blending areas in. And I'm not going around here where the reflected light is. But what I'm gonna do is turn upside down just so I can kind of like turn it that way. And what I can get my kneaded eraser. I could probably get that dark charcoal there. Actually, you know, instead of using my kneaded eraser, because there's enough light, reflected light there, that what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn it this way. Find a sharp edge of this and turn it on its side. And I can get my little blending stump here. Actually, the blending stump's taking out more than I wanted to. Now later on, when you're working in tight quarters like this is where you start to use the pencil and things like that, because you can get in there. But right now I'm just trying to do this quickly, so I'm just going to keep my hands and see if I can do it. Just my hands. All right, now I'm going to get my kneaded eraser. I'm going to go here again, and again I'm working in circles, and now I'm starting to go down. But do you see this little black haze of charcoal? I'm kind of using that as a form of blending. And just like you're waxing a car, if you've ever done that before, you just kind of wax a car in circles, and I'm getting my highlight again established, and then I'm just kind of working out from the highlight, and I wanted to blend it all in. I don't want it to look like there's rings. You definitely don't want to have that look. You want it to be a nice, even, gradual shift of value. So, doing that now. I'm starting to get there. You have to kind of work it until it's there. So you can kind of see it goes from a highlight, mid-tone, core, and then reflected light, cast shadow. That's enough for the moment. I mean, you can take it further and further and further, but for now I'm just going to get this guy, and just like I did here, I'm just going to darken the exterior part. And notice how I'm losing my edge now. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it in, meaning I'm going to go past the point of the circle. I can bring it all the way around, but I'm not going to do that now. Go past the point of the circle, and then what I'm going to do is just use my kneaded eraser, and I'm going to lightly bring that back in, that edge. And then I have my edge back, and this is darker. There's no more line. I have a middle tone. I have my highlight back to my middle tone. Again, my core shadow and my reflected light. I do have a line here. Probably deal with blending that in with the blending stump, but you could also add value on the exterior part or behind it, and then you'll lose that little section. I'm just gonna blend this stuff. So you can get kind of a richer, darker dark with the compressed. As you can probably tell that, because I can go back on here and even add more. Whereas you can't get that as well with the other stuff, the willow. It also depends on the paper. If you have a nice rag paper or something, this stuff's great for it. If you have a flat paper that's not saturated or not much of a tooth, this is great for the compressed. And the compressed is what we're going to be using for this project. Eventually we're going to do this. This is faster, it's so quick, but this is, you can kind of see that really rich dark core shadow that I got now. And then because I put a darker core shadow in, that light area pops out a little bit more because the value is now even lighter compared to the dark. So basically this is all you're gonna do. You're just gonna make two, oops. Use my finger to blend this back in. You're gonna make two, there we go, spheres. And only to understand the medium, the material, charcoal, and how you can kind of use your fingers, use this, use that, use this tool. Down the road though, I'm thinking I might have a mid sphere in the middle of the project where you do this, where you make a sphere like this, but you're going to use the white charcoal, this, and the black charcoal, and then you can get a wide range of value. It's kind of nice. We're not using the paper as the value. So fast, quick, easy way to get a light source, cast shadow. Can you even do this a little bit more? There we go. I'm just kind of blending this out using the eraser. And it kind of fades out more. To do that here, I'd have to use this guy, and then I would have to kind of blend this out. You can get the same effect, you just have to do it differently. The eraser would take too much off. But you get the same idea. Alrighty, until next time.